Okay, so I saw this guy named Retro Dude make a video where he theorized about what the original lore of Five Nights at Freddy's was, the first game, and I thought it would be cool to go through all of the games and assess what they added to the lore game by game. Having said that, I do feel like I'm kind of stealing from him, so the least I can do is to make it so that you have to watch his video. So I'm not going to give a recap on it. Instead, please, for the love of God, watch his video. I've linked it in the description. Watch it, or none of this will make any sense. Well, it'll make more sense. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is go over the new content that FNAF 2 added, then we can stitch it together. First, we got the phone calls, not much that we can get from them. You know, just some small things like the previous location being named Fredbear's Family Diner, not Freddy Fazbear's, confirming that this is a prequel, not a sequel.
We're gonna try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of the place was Fredbear's Family Diner or something like that. It was closed for years, though. I doubt we'll be able to track anybody down.
Something bad happened at the previous location that necessitated a rebrand, and also the decommissioning of its main animatronic.
Now, I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old location, you know. Some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company.
The police investigation starts at the time of the game.
So, just to update you, there's been somewhat of an investigation going on. We may end up having to close for a few days, I don't know.
You know, small, insignificant, meaningless details like that. Then, we got the death minigames. First up is Give Cake. Plays Freddy, to give cake out to kids. Some guy is killed outside, then the puppet jump scares you. Yeah, guy. S-A-H-I-M. The puppet is possessed by a dude. So if you somehow thought FNAF lore was planned out, no. Next is Save Them. Walk around the FNAF 2 location following the puppet. Then you get attacked by Purple Guy, and in the background you can see 5 very dead and unstuffed kids. So the MCI happened in the FNAF 2 location. Then we got Give Gifts, where the puppet puts the kids into their suits, and Golden Freddy jump scares you after his corpse appears for 1 frame. Next, Foxy Go Go Go. I got nothing. Foxy Go Go goes into a room and 5 dead kids are there. Maybe this has something to do with Foxy always being a bit twitchy.
Did you ever see Foxy the Pirate? Oh wait, Foxy. Oh yeah, Foxy. Hey listen, that one was always a bit twitchy.
Other than that, I got nothing. Oh, and the paycheck says this game happens in the September of '87. Just gonna be a little important for later. Alright, now I gotta organize this shit. First, when is the MCI? It needs to happen after the puppet gets possessed, and in the month of June, as stated by the MCI news clippings in FNAF 1. So that only leaves it happening in the June of the same year as FNAF 2, but that's 3 months before FNAF 2 happens. And Phone Guy tells us that Fazbear's is only being investigated during the last couple of nights of FNAF 2. So, for 3 months, no one suspects that Fazbear's was involved with the disappearances. The same place where kids have gone missing before. Well, I do have some points to make in favor of this. One, it was the 80s. Parents were a lot less worried about their kids' safety. And, you know, the whole scare campaigns, fear-mongering, milk carton bullshit hadn't started up yet, so they were entirely willing to just let them go over to Fazbear's on their own. So that puts plausible deniability over not having parents present. 2, it's a very crowded establishment. The likelihood that something would happen there with all these potential witnesses instead of the walk to and back from Freddy's is, barely slim. 3, the new bots should have prevented anything from happening. 4, the day shift guard said nothing happened. All of that in consideration, I feel like 3 months is a perfectly reasonable amount of time before launching an investigation. And Phone Guy says that there are rumors circulating even before the police get involved.
Oh, hey, before I go, I wanted to ease your mind about any rumors you might have heard lately. You know how these local stories come and go and seldom mean anything.
So, yeah. The Bite 087, as its name implies, needs to have happened in 87. But not before FNAF 2, because the bots still use free roll mode. Phone Guy does say that you're getting moved over to the day shift to assist with the last party before they shut down for the investigation's duration, which is probably when an animatronic bites your face off. As for which animatronic did it, probably Mangle. Their jump scare animation is them biting into your forehead. So, last thing left is the puppet's murder. First victim that has seen everything. I got to a fairly straightforward conclusion with this one. It was the reason for Fredbear's shutdown, and after it they developed the new technology to catch child predators. And if they ever enter the building, it wouldn't make sense for it to happen after the Bite of 87, and we don't have any other incidents that would cause a rebrand and the development of that technology. So I just did this. Alright. I think I've done enough to go over the new timeline now. If I've missed anything, I'm sure you guys will tell me. So first, Fredbear's Family Diner opens up. Then, the puppet gets killed at that location. Fredbear gets decommissioned as they have to rebrand after something that horrific. And then Purple Guy tops it fivefold. Purple Guy uses the empty Fredbear suit to lure the kids away, kills them, uses his day shift guard privilege to say that he didn't see anything happen and, delete footage maybe. And then the bodies were hidden inside the suits later that same day by the puppet in order to possess them and so that they could get their revenge and stuff. And then the bodies were found inside the suits and disposed of by management in order to, maintain struggling PR. No one suspects Fazbear's involved for the aforementioned reasons a couple minutes ago. Then, FNAF 2 happens, new guy clocks in, police investigation starts up, guy gets moved over to the day shift, gets his brain bitten out, all that good stuff. Then, they have to close, downsize because nobody likes them anymore. Then, FNAF 1 happens, closes a couple months after. Nothing super complicated. It's all very simple. Let's see how long that lasts. So, yeah. If you saw anything wrong with my evidence collection, my assembly of that evidence, or the final timeline, please leave a comment and I'll address all the questions I get. Unless if this gets like 1 million views somehow. I'll address all of it in the next video before getting into the new lore from the next game. End communication.